we could get this thing live and on the street for you, within several weeks.
So here's another thing I can kind of pull back the curtain a little bit for everyone here too, as well, is that we're launching currently 6 different products here for the first quarter of 2023. So our book on actually getting through a new product launch probably wouldn't happen until second quarter. So I'm not saying we have all the time in the world, but what I am saying is that I think that if there is a possibility that we can do this right, the right meaning the AOBG way, no disrespect,
No worries.
the first time, then that would probably be preferable for us, as we already have multiple projects occurring right now at the same time. So I don't think, our intention would be to launch this very quickly, because to be absolutely fair and honest with you, it probably would get lost in the scheduling right now of all of the new products that are coming out already. So we would want this to also be able to sit on its own, and have its own excitement, or time in the sun, if you will.
Sounds good. That's
Okay.
logical.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense. All right, we'll give you the sort of the dime tour here. This is,
Right.
a typical, we'll say, enrollment portal. This, of course, is our testing environment, so this is pretty bland, but the idea is sound. This is a fully customizable landing page that would typically have white labeling for logos and contact information and information about the group who's involved, or the association, just keeping it familiar, hopefully, for the person who is hitting this landing page, including clients or individuals who might be coming in here. We also try to educate people on what the product is and what it does, and if there are, say, email communications or marketing pieces or videos or PDFs or whatever, they would snap in right in here. Okay, so that's pretty self-explanatory, but we like an informative and familiar area to get people into the site. Okay, hopefully the education about the product would happen before they got here, but if not, we could echo those sentiments right there on that page. When folks are ready to get in, okay, now we're talking to Chubb's APIs, so we're going to need some information. Okay, not the least of which is the person's email address. This is how we're going to communicate with them, as does Chubb. Okay. Next up are dates of birth, occupation, and states. All right. This is going to influence the rest of the funnel. Okay, their rates and some of the questions that they're going to see on screen, which are driven by the APIs coming from Chubb. All right, so I'll show you what I mean here. I'll pick an arbitrary date of birth. Okay, accountant. This is the list of occupations that Matt mentioned. There are thousands in there. It's pretty exhaustive. I'm just going to choose accountant, and away we go. Okay. All right, so now we're in the funnel. There are 5 steps. All right, these are qualification questions. These are influenced per state and driven to us by Chubb's APIs. We're going to take the happy path throughout this whole experience here. So we're going to say that no, we haven't worked less than 20 hours a week. That's the minimum. Yes, we are a U.S. citizen. No, this is not replacing any of these other policies here. No, we don't earn less than the $18,000 minimum for Connecticut. Okay, self-employed. Excuse me, if you're not self-employed, meaning W-2, you enter in your income over here. If you are on 1099, you enter an income here. If you have both, great, as long as they equal this or more, away you go. If not, one or the other has to equal or be more than this amount. Okay. Matt made mention of tobacco use. Again, happy path. We're going to say no. When we say that, we actually qualify for 1 discount off the base rate. Okay, because we're a non-smoker. And we are going to enter in what we know is a healthy height and weight. Okay, Since we are going to have a calculated healthy BMI, we're going to also qualify for another discount. Okay. If we say yes, we use tobacco, we're not excluded. But if we have a height and weight combination that's outside of the underwriting chart supplied to us by Chubb, meaning if I'm 4'2", which you could pick, and 300 some odd pounds, you actually will be excluded. Your BMI
Well,
is too high.
circus performing is probably excluded as well.
It's
So
not
that
in the
might,
list.
that might not work.
It's not on the list. So
Okay.
correct.
Got it.
So we save and continue. We reach out to Chubb, and of course, these questions are state dependent, and you could guess these are health questions. We're looking for no here throughout. No to heart attack, no to stroke, no to cancer,
Are all
etc.
these disqualifying questions?
That is correct. So these
Okay.
would be knockout questions if you answered unfavorably. And in this
Okay.
case, if you answered yes to any of these, unfortunately, you would be excluded.
So we do
Go
have,
ahead.
it's not built out yet in some of our production sites, but we do have other product options to present if there is a decline. So we have a proprietary, it's not digital, but it's an impaired risk domestic disability product to age 65. So, very soon, anyone that's declined will get, they'll get an email to themselves and their whatever agent they came through with some info, with a copy of the application. There'll also be a pop-up where you could actually fill out the digital app, right? It's just a PDF, but for submission to us. So, so decline is not the end of the road necessarily.
Sure. Smart.
Right. We don't want anybody to go away empty-handed. So
Well, yeah, absolutely.
not the least of which would be our agents. So we want our agents to get a, make the sale, get a commission. Behind the scenes, each one of these branded sites would have the information for, say, a broker or an agent and their commission rate. All right. So those are tracked per line item. So if just, throwing this out there, if we had to do a branded site for you and per agent, we could absolutely do that, and it would track who brought in the sale. Okay, so just again putting that out there. So this person, due to income, age, health, and state, they qualify for $1,000 or $800 a month in benefit. This is their rate right from Chubb. I'm going to select that, and away we go. At this point, too, the person can decline. Their journey would end. They would see a message saying that their declination has been recorded. That does a couple of things, not the least of which is we don't follow up and continue to try to solicit that person. We understand that, okay, they opted out. We will leave them alone.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, so now we're halfway through. We're just reiterating on this screen so there are no ambiguities, what the benefit is, what the monthly cost is, all right, how the effective date works. Right, this is just, no surprises for the user. Save and continue, and of course now we need to get a better idea of who this person is. This is their contact information. We need to fill this out. Okay. And this is a test site, so I'm just going to enter in junk numbers. If any one of these fields were to have been left blank, a message at the bottom would say there are errors above, go and fix them, and the erroneous field or fields would be highlighted in like a pink color. Okay, and at the bottom, the user can select a beneficiary. I'm going to choose myself so I don't have to enter in any more information. The system will take what's entered up above and record it as the beneficiary. Had I chosen someone else, I would have to slug in all of their details, including, the relationship to the insured, their contact information, phone, etc.
Sure.
Okay, we've reached out to Chubb. We made one more check. Is everything okay? Yes. Okay. Had I done something wrong, there would have been a nice message telling me, no, not so good, John, go back and fix it. What I'm telling you is Chubb's APIs have fired, and we are right at the sort of the 1 yard line here. And here's the fine print that we were just talking about. Okay, this is state specific, and we have a checkbox for all of these. Basically, electronic payment they're going to be talking about, medical records, your personal information, just catch-alls so that folks understand the same language that's actually on the PDF filed with the state application. Okay, of course. I'm sure you're. I'm sure you're absolutely familiar with all of these things. Right now, we are going to agree to the terms above, and for us now in this particular journey, we bounce over to the Chubb portal. Okay, we had to have a pretty explicit message over here so folks didn't get lost. Like, why are we going to now enter in credit card or ACH information? The site looks a little different. I'm concerned. Let me call my agent. So we added that message to sort of remove those apprehensions. And so this is something that we touched upon earlier. Chubb is expecting us as the user to enter in one of these payment information types. Okay. Had somebody not done this, we would have captured all of their information, how far they made it in the process, and we could follow up with them because obviously we have their email address, their phone number, etc. But in order to get a working policy number and to consider the process actually complete and the process, the policy effective, this is the expected next step. All right. All right, we click this box. The API knows who we are and what we entered before. One more box, okay, and then pay now. So what happens here is it's registered in Chubb's system. They're preparing an email which will send over the policy number and some instructions on how to maintain your policy, meaning going to their internal system. If you needed to update or make a claim, you would handle it over there with them. Gives them an 800 number if they would like to or prefer to call rather than go to the site. They get bounced back over to us, so this would be branded again, just like when we logged in, whatever that might be. And it just gives them another message that says, okay, thank you for completing it, 15 days, what to expect next. So from start to finish.
Following on our earlier discussion, sorry, John, there will also be here in the future sort of a, hey, congratulations, you've been approved by Chubb. Would you like to buy some digital accidental death with no further underwriting or questions? Click here to, pay X for X of AD immediately. So we'll have an extra sort of impulse buy here at the end.
Yeah, very smart. Yeah, good move there. We obviously have a very similar format. The biggest difference is this is customer led, and where ours is agent led. So when the member receives that e-signature, some of that same stuff happens that we saw on that other page. They would click and sign and send back to the agent, and then the agent's portal would light up green to go and submit that business. Once they do, they receive email notification explaining what their next steps are, if any need to be taken. Yeah, very, very similar format, just one from one view to another, right? Just one agent's view and the other one is a customer-led journey. So yeah, love it.
Excellent. And this is not the exact one because I don't want to slow us down. This is one that I had on hand ready to go. This is a typical email that comes through. You get the policy number right then and there, tells you what your monthly payment is, some plan highlights, and how to access or contact somebody for next steps, questions, claims, etc.
Perfect.
Yep. Yeah. So effectively, I mean, once they're in force, the client can handle all their sort of policy interaction through the Chubb portal direct. So they can change.
Right.
If they want to increase coverage or change, the beneficiary if they needed to, or file a claim or change their credit card. They do that all with the Chubb portal. So there's they've got a dedicated team and everything on this business.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
makes sense. Yeah, we have similar setups also with that, like Washington National and other plans where once they reach the point and they're an active member, they basically communicate directly to the carrier and operate under their systems.
Excellent.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't have particular any questions regarding that journey that was taken.
Okay.
Personally, I don't think it seems like it's all very smooth and makes sense. Um, I'm under the impression that if we can make something happen to where we're kind of all happy, being able to sell on our portal and give this product out to our agents, I would see this as being a second quarter run for us. So, if we can, like Dee was saying, maybe try to put our heads together and see, what it would take, and what the feasibility of getting a product like this or this particular product on our portal, that would be fantastic.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Hey, Vince.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Just real quick, I think it's also helpful that currently you don't offer any other form of short-term disability on your platform currently. Is that correct?
You would be the only short-term disability product that we have, which is another unique area of opportunity, right? And that's why combining this product launch with others right now definitely wouldn't make sense. But it does give our agents who have been asking for a disability product some access to something that's very unique for them, and will probably excite them.
Yeah. And what's
That's
nice
great.
is that we wouldn't be integrating so, as far as other DI coverage being available and able to be purchased, that wouldn't be the case. It would be exclusively just our product. So that's one of the criteria from Chubb. The other is, I, at a high level, just kind of share with my team the kind of volume and premium and what you guys are kind of your goals for this year and just.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So we currently have just over 3,000 active agents on our portals. And they sell a wide range of different products, some different specialties, right? We've got a lot of agents that focus. We have a pet market, for instance, where they sell Bin Paws pet care. We've got an entire affinity division. But the majority of our agents lie in the under 65 health and life market, which is obviously where we fit, in supplemental health and life. We drive approximately 500 to 700 apps per day on our portal, and so that's pretty good business. I think it keeps the lights on at least. And our goal, to put it plainly, for May of 23 to April of 24 is $20 million in new business. So, we need to stay relevant. And in this current market, one of our exciting, I would call it a transition. We've played in the ACA realm, but certainly for 2023 through 2024, ACA is going to be a big player in our existence. So we want products that are affordable, that are sticky, that will provide the member with the appropriate amount of benefit, obviously, for the cost that they're receiving. We want high value, and that's a big reason when we're talking to carriers that we want to be able to provide products that fit within that scheme. So we deal with a lot of members who may not have a ton of out of pocket to spend on protecting themselves and the family. And so we want to be able to provide products that give them the absolute most bang for their buck.
Excellent.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, we'll we're solutions driven. We'll figure something out. I mean, nothing's ever perfect or ideal, but
Yeah.
we're in the business of writing business.
Yes.
So
Yeah, we are too. And yeah, that's good to hear. We're definitely on the same page with that. And like I said, we've we've had to jump through hurdles before and jump over hurdles and jump through hoops, I guess is the better way to say that. But we can work out. When it comes to technology, we have Jamie Lovejoy, who was scheduled to be on the call, who had that other conflict of interest. She's in our technology. She does all of our IT and her team, of course, not just her. That would be a ton of work. But so we have people on staff that their job is solely making sure that things like this integration with new products, with new carriers and APIs back and forth run smoothly, and in as timely a fashion as they can. So sometimes that's 2 weeks, other times that's 2 months, and sometimes it's even longer than that. So when we work with the carrier, it's always a new experience, even though we're dealing somewhat with the same stuff and the same information. Um, there are some carriers I'm sure out there that are a little bit behind the times when it comes to integration, and it takes a bit more time sometimes to massage that stuff out.
Poor John.
Hey.
Yeah, John is a wizard. I mean, we've been on integration calls with carriers, and there's 30 folks, and
Yeah.
and then there's John, and John runs circles around them, and it's like, wow,
man,
that,
it's so funny. Yeah. Many
Thank you,
stories
sir.
about
Well-
conference calls with 30 guys on it, all trying to answer the same question.
And Vince, also, I know when the three of us spoke last week, or I guess a week and a half, your guys' partnership with Gallagher is also, I remember you guys have, Dee has a meeting with all the execs from Gallagher, and are they currently wanting and looking to use your platform for some of their integration and associations? I know, just help me express what we talked about with some of the other large associations, including Premier Business Association, that type of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So, definitely not a partnership. So, but real close. Gallagher purchased AOBG back in, it's going 2 years now. So, we've been under the Gallagher umbrella, specifically the Gallagher Affinity portion of Gallagher's business, and have had just a great experience with them. And so we are a Gallagher company. There is something to be said about synergy. So, we really always look for companies that follow kind of the same path. Gallagher is in the top 10 ethical companies in the world. And we look to represent that when we work together with others. So, we look for that synergy, and as well, to highlight Gavin's point. Gallagher has multiple lines of business and obviously different areas around the world. PBA is one of them. That's their association, which is what we are trying to do. It's not that we are a PBA, because we're obviously not going to be the association that we're selling these products under, but why wouldn't we use a Gallagher association when selling our products? Because that just makes more sense. And so, we try to not only represent Gallagher's brand in an appropriate way, but make it to where we can all work together in a nice, happy family kind of thing. So, there's no real intention for Gallagher as a whole to use our platform in any specific way. There's so many divisions and arms of Gallagher as a whole that it just comes naturally, and that's kind of what we look for, right? Is where does the natural fit occur? When things need to be forced, if it needs to be forced too much, then it might indicate a problem. So, not saying that we don't run into bumps and get bruises every now and then, but certainly we want to look for synergy first.
Excellent.
That's great. Yeah, and I would say, we have a ton of traditional as well as excess A&H products. We're generally a wholesaler. Right? We have a pen on a ton of stuff, and as we're working together, if you see something, just because it may not fit specifically with this STD product, it doesn't mean that we don't have another solution. Give you an example, we can write group STD with Chubb combined and also with Wellfleet. So, if you've got a group of folks that may be a better fit for traditional STD, if you don't have an option there, Right? Just because we're doing this digitally, we could also do it, from a traditional perspective. So
Certainly.
we can pivot as needed.
Yeah, yeah, I'm 100% there with you. We have other contracts as well where, it's kind of on an as needed basis. When it comes up and it's needed, we have it. So yeah, we're right there with you. So
Perfect.
should we schedule a follow-up for maybe Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, or what is everyone thinking?
Sure, mid next week, I think would be a good idea, at least as I'm looking at my calendar selfishly. That's why I'm throwing that out there.
Yeah, that works. And I'm actually live with a couple of the senior execs from Chubb Thursday of next week down in Florida. So I'll be able to, knowing some of the challenges we'll have, I'll be able to kind of talk through that with them live there. So yeah, it'd kind of be good timing.
Great. Yeah, that sounds fantastic. So yeah, Gavin, if you'd like to arrange and get something on the calendar, I'm free. I know Dee's schedule for next week is it's always hit and miss, so it's better let's get it on the calendar for him before anyone else does. And
No, absolutely. I'll be more than happy to send out the invite. Just give me a day and a time, and I'll make that happen.
excellent. That sounds perfect. Thank you, everybody, for your time today. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Vince.
Yeah,
All
our
right.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks, folks.
Have a great
Have a great
weekend.
day.
Bye-bye.
Great weekend. Yeah.
Bye.
Vince, did you need to check